Live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I am Kel McDonald, and I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete, and I make comics that you can read at alinapete.com or at weargeek.com. Man,
Uh,
been a little bit. How's your mood today? I'm gonna draw us. What are you
uh,
feeling drawing
Singy,
wise?
singing
Singing? Cool.
wise,
Oh, let's do
just
karaoke. Yeah.
yeah,
We were just talking about
karaoke
karaoke.
us. Before we went live, I was talking to Alina about
Have
postmodern jukebox.
have we ever gone karaokeing, you and me, in real life?
I don't know. Have you seen me sing Skid Row? Because that is what I sing at every karaoke. So if you haven't
I
heard me
have
sing
not.
Skid
I
Row,
have not.
I like to pick songs where I can show off.
Good.
Because
I mean,
I do
yeah,
know how to hit high notes and hold them for a really long time. So
good.
the opening of Skid Row with the alarm goes off at 7, like the alarm gets held for a long time and is kind of a high
Good.
note. Um, so that's why I pick it. Um, yeah.
I like singing Werewolves of London because it's sung about werewolves, but also doing the awoo part is just very fun.
It's a very easy song to pick, which is why I don't
It
sing it
is.
at karaoke. Is
Yeah.
because,
It
like I
seems like
mentioned,
your brand.
while on brand, it's not. I can't show off as much.
That's true.
Um, uh, I have sung Phantom of the Opera at karaoke.
Ooh, nice.
Um, cause
I do like it when people bust out the musicals at a karaoke night.
oh, that's my entire karaoke list.
Yeah.
All
Good.
musicals all the time.
Good, good,
Um,
good. Good, good.
Someone asked me once if there was a werewolf musical, and I'm like, there needs to be. There isn't, but there
Yep.
needs to be. Um, Fun fact: Total Eclipse of the Heart
Yep.
was written for a vampire musical.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And is about a vampire,
Yes. Um,
which is amazing and is one of those facts that blows people's minds.
but when you think
Uh,
about it, it's like, of course, it's about a vampire. Like when you look
no,
at
of
the
course it is.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Um,
Just like people never believe that there is a line about vampires in Tom Petty's not American Girl. Come on, brain. Nope, my brain is not giving me it. I have to look it up.
is it Only the Good
It's in
Die
Free
Young?
Fallin'. Yeah, Free
Oh.
Fallin'.
I like that Only the Good Die Young is about trying to get a Catholic girl to put out.
Yep.
Um
You
as
are
far
you're
as
singing
catchy
very good in
songs
this one.
go, like that's a um there's a lot of like really catchy hair metal songs. Um
Yes, that are very fun to sing at karaoke.
yeah, I really like Talk Dirty to Me.
Yep. I have a deeper alto, and I like everything by Joan Jett. Very fun to sing in my
You
register.
probably Amy Winehouse is in your range then too.
Yes, yeah. I can do Amy Winehouse. I can do Katie Tunstall. I do a lot of Tom Petty because it's me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, my karaoke list is where the musicals at. Give them to me.
Good, good. I will do all the musicals.
Though what fucks me up is there is sometimes they change the lyrics between the movie version and the musical version, and it's I never know which version is going to be on karaoke.
Right. And you're like, God damn it. That's where you just sing what's not on the screen. You're
Yeah,
like, I know this part anyway.
like Little Shop of Horrors, the dentist
Yes.
song.
Oh, yes.
The last verse, the
Very
lyrics have
good.
changed between the movie and the musical. Uh, So
There, that's us singing, just singing a little karaoke.
good.
The last time I did karaoke at a con was years and years and years and years and years ago at Emerald City. There was a big group of us who all went out for karaoke afterwards, and it was so much fun. And I regret that I haven't had a chance to do it since then. Also, doing cons now with COVID is a whole different thing. And we've started
Well,
to not even go out for dinner afterwards. We're like just gonna
yeah.
go back to our Airbnb and
Well,
cook dinner there because it's cheaper and
we
we don't have
we
to
we
take
can
our masks
both
off around people.
we can both serenade Sam at San
Hell yes.
Diego Comic
Sam,
Con.
I don't know if you know about this about Sam, but Sam plays the piano amazingly.
Oh, I did not
Uh,
know that about Sam.
yeah, he's a really good piano player. And it was at San Diego the first time I went that I discovered that. Because it was one of those years that Topatico rented an entire house and
Mm-hmm.
they put up all the Topatico people, or at least let
Mm-hmm.
them buy in. I think they had to pay their own
Yeah.
share. But like Topatico got a house and it had a pool and a big dining room and a piano. And I went over to go party with them one night and Sam played piano most of the evening. It was amazing. He's very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know what is a very fun song to sing at karaoke?
No.
The Pokemon theme song.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, yes. That's just a good song.
um. Then
That one is a
yeah.
straight up banger.
So next time you're in Portland, we should do karaoke.
Hell
There's a
yes.
karaoke place called Voice Box.
I've been there. I
Yes.
went there for a friend's birthday. And I was down there
Uh,
one year.
when uh, because I used to go a lot. I have a friend who Kat and Ron. You know
Oh
Kat and
yeah.
Ron,
Oh yeah.
right?
They've stayed on
So
my
they really
couch.
like Hamilton and somehow managed to
Hell yes.
convince Voice Box to have the entire soundtrack of Hamilton. Like
They are the
even
ones.
even the little
Hey.
songs that like most people don't
Yep.
know, like
Yep. Because the birthday girl, when I was down there at Voicebox, was like, "Okay, we got to go to Voicebox because they have my songs." And then we got there, and she sang like all of the Hamilton songs, and then I got to be Burr for most of them. It was very good.
nice.
That was a very fun birthday party. Also, they have some very nice cocktails. They got like a lychee hot sake, and it was really tasty.
Um, but there's like a karaoke app that you can apparently download,
Mm.
which has a bunch of like if you don't feel like renting your own karaoke list, you can like just use theirs.
Oh, cool.
Um, and they have postmodern jukebox songs on there.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
because
Good.
I did sing Gangster's Paradise.
Good. But the postmodern jukebox version.
Yeah, I also really like their cover of Creep.
Ooh, I'm not sure I've heard that one.
It's like a jazzy version. I have
Nice.
3 different covers of Creep, but not the original on my.
Good. Good. Excellent.
Because I have, in my opinion, one of the best movie trailers, divorced from the actual quality of the movie, just judging it solely
Hmm.
on the trailer. I think one of the most brilliant movie trailers was the trailer for the Facebook movie because it was just someone browsing various Facebooks,
Right?
particularly while like a choir version of Creep was playing.
Oh, nice. Good. God, I
So
forgot there
it's
was a Facebook movie.
yeah, it's all
I think I
about
blocked that
how
out.
it has a really good quote at the beginning of the
Really?
movie. Cuz the movie starts with Zuckerberg on a date that is not going well cuz he
Right.
is talking at his date.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
she gets up to leave and she says, "You're going to think that girls don't. I want to just make something clear because you're gonna think girls don't like you because you're a nerd, but I want you to know it's because you're an asshole.
Good.
And then she
Very
leaves.
good. And
And that's
very
how the
true.
movie starts.
Good.
It is not a flattering movie. So like, and oddly enough, um, Mark Zuckerberg does not like the movie,
I'll
not
go
because it
figure.
presents him as an asshole,
Right?
but it kind of implies that he invented Facebook to impress that girl that calls him an asshole in the first 5
Right,
minutes.
right.
Because there needs to be like an character
Yeah,
arc,
for
so that's
sure.
why they start with the girl calling him an asshole. And
Right. And then he's like,
um
no, I'm not an asshole. I'll prove myself.
well, because when he starts to make Facebook, it's about getting girls.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, because that was the whole thing. Facebook was like,
Yeah.
check on your classmates that you went to school with.
Yeah,
Are
no,
they frat
he's very
now? Like,
insistent
it
that
was very
they have
shallow.
the relationship status, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that is like from the beginning. So it's kind of like,
It was an awful idea.
it
And
it,
it's
it
evolved into an awful thing that has
it
ruined democracy.
yeah
So that's cool.
so the movie kind of implies that like part of his motivation was to get girls,
Yeah.
and so that's the
But he
part that
claims it was
he's
not that at all.
opposed to, not
Right.
the part that's like, so he's a criminal and he stole
And an
his friend's
asshole.
ideas and he's a huge
Yes.
asshole, and he's an entitled
No, he's fine with all of that because
yeah.
he's a millionaire and like or a billionaire, and we knew that. We all knew that.
It's also, it's one of those things where maybe he doesn't realize what's wrong with the things depicted in the movie. Like,
Right. Yes.
um
Like this just shows how smart I was to make all this money, right?
yeah.
Right? And you're like, no, it shows that you are an asshole. She was indeed correct.
Yeah. This one scene lady, so uh
Summarized your entire character and
yeah,
life at the same time.
yeah, so kudos to the movie making people for
Mm-hmm.
summing up, letting the audience know right from the first scene you're about to watch a movie about an asshole.
An asshole, just an
Um,
utter asshole.
yeah. So,
Good.
the other movie trailer that I think is maybe one of the best movie trailers in the history of movie trailers is the SpongeBob movie trailer.
Oh, that one's very good. I do like that
Um,
movie trailer.
because it starts with the like deep questions while panning over the ocean, and
Yes. And then it turns out to be the SpongeBob movie.
who lives in a pineapple under the
Pineapple under
sea?
the
The
sea.
most important question about life to get answered.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh, I
but
know what I should do. I've been struggling with this guy for a while, and
have
I am
you
going to try.
seen the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
I have not.
If you are a partaker of musicals,
I am.
it is a show that you should watch. Um, and in fact, maybe I'll just bring my laptop to San Diego,
Oh, we
and
can
we
just
can
watch
watch
some
some
stuff.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, since we're not gonna go party it up.
Yep.
Um,
We are gonna stay home and cook some food, and maybe swim in that cool pool that we're gonna have access to. I like a pool. I was
uh,
looking for gender affirming swimsuits this week
I
because I don't like the one that I have currently. It's just a regular like two-piece
I don't
swimsuit.
have a swimsuit, and uh, I don't know if I'm going to acquire one before San Diego, because I
Yeah,
hate shopping.
I shopping is awful. Shopping for swimsuits and or any sort of underwear is doubly so. Uh, but I need one anyway because I'm going on several other like lake trips and stuff this summer. So the swimsuits not great. But I've decided that I want like a rash guard style bathing suit, which is basically just like what if shorts and a t-shirt that you swim in.
Oh, you should link me to those, because maybe I'll just get those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, cause yeah, cause I hate swimsuits.
Yep, they suck. Too bright? That's better.
Um, but yeah, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is about a lady who decides to move cross country because she ran into her high school sweetheart on the
Right?
streets of New York, and is like, "Oh, we should hang out since you're in New York." And he's like, I'm actually leaving New York in 2 weeks because I hate it here and I'm moving back to my hometown,
Right.
which is this tiny town in California um, that is not exciting at all. So it is very weird that she decided to move there. Like, if
Mm,
he lived in, like, LA or Seattle, she would have plausible deniability of, like,
yes.
oh, I
Oh,
have a
I just
job
happened to be
offer,
here.
where
Yeah.
it's, no, she
She
moved
just
because,
moved there for him. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And
Weird.
they're
Pretty
not
weird.
dating, and that's
Nope.
important. Like,
Very weird. Don't do that.
uh, and, it's very good. And, it has some very good songs, like A Fuck Ton of Cats.
Good. Good. Good.
There's a part where she's like, "My love life is awful, so there's only one solution. I must buy a fuck ton of cats."
Right. Become a crazy cat lady.
Yeah.
Always.
Um.
Always a option.
And then the law firm that she gets a job at is run by a very white guy who has changed his name. I forget what he changed his name to exactly, but I know it ends in feather because he found out that he is one something percent
Of course.
such and such. Yeah.
Cherokee, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone always claims to be Cherokee.
And she does like almost immediately call him on it. Like she's like, "You don't think like so you just changed your name?" And he's like, "Yeah." And
Yeah.
it's like, "And you don't think that's weird at all?"
Yeah.
Um uh
Hmm. No, I think it needs to be darker blue.
and it got a lot of praise because the dude that she's obsessed with is a very hot Asian guy.
Mm.
And Asian guys don't get to be the
No, the
himbos
sexy guy.
usually.
No.
Yeah. So him and what's his name from The Good Place, leading the way of sexy
Oh
himbo
yes.
Asian dudes.
Oh my God, yes. That's a trope that is very good.
Yeah.
I do like God, everything that Jason from The Good Place does is the best. So so dumb,
He's
so
so
earnest.
dumb. Yeah. So yeah. There's some very good it does a good job of being a really diverse show and
Yeah.
having some very catchy songs. There's kind of like a 80s send up song that you might have seen on Tumblr even if you haven't seen the show, called Getting By,
Oh,
because in the first
yeah.
season her boss realizes that he's bi,
Right.
um, and he comes out via
The song.
musical number called Getting
Excellent.
By.
Excellent.
Um,
Good.
uh, and then one of my favorite songs is in a later season, after she has broken the hearts of several dudes, and they're getting over her. Um, One of them is a very kind of broy, upper crust, like white waspy guy. So he
Yep.
doesn't want to talk about his feelings and he decides to just work out at the gym. Um, and he comes across uh, first love interest, the Asian himbo guy's
Right, right,
high
right.
school friend who's gay and also spends all his time at the gym. Um, and they become friends. And because they both don't want to talk about their problems, um, gay guy, to cheer him up so he doesn't have to think about women, takes him to a gay club,
Good.
um, which, much to the gay guy's annoyance, has been infested by um, straight lady bachelorette parties.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The
Um,
eventual fate of every gay bar.
but while they're there, their frustrations build up, and then they do a Magic Mike send up song
Oh, good.
called "Fit Hot Guys Have Problems Too."
Good.
Where one of the lines is, "We're not dancing for you. It's just easier to process our emotions with our clothes off."
Good. Good.
uh, it's a very good show.
I find the swing to let's write some Asian characters who are himbos hilarious because it's like a direct refutation of the old roles that Asian men got forced into all the time, which were like
Yeah,
Asian men, they're allowed to be smart, but they're not allowed to be sexy.
yeah.
And now they're like, let's just bizarro world that, turn it entirely on its head, and be like, what if though? What if though we were dumbasses who
So
were
because
super sexy, sexy dumbasses?
Jason was on The Good Place at the
Jason
same
Mendoza.
time that the Asian himbo Josh was on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Right, right.
Um, there was some criticism that
They were kind of the same.
both of them were Filipino. So it was kind of
Uh,
accidentally implying that Filipinos were the dumb Asians. Um, I did see that sort of discussion start up, but
Interesting.
since both of those shows are well written, like,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen that many people follow up on that, but
No, no,
also not that many people have followed up on the Asian himbo.
no. They've been like sort of the sole examples.
Yeah, so it's
And the
two
best.
examples.
And the
Um,
best. I feel like that now. Cool.
but yeah, I highly recommend Crazy Ex Girlfriend. It's a very good show. It's also does a good job handling mental illness.
Cool. That is something that
Cause
TV generally doesn't.
yeah, cause they talked about it in an interview, and I think that cause they knew that obviously the main character is not okay because she moved cross
Yeah.
country because of a
Yes.
because of a 5 minute interaction.
With
Um,
someone she used to know. Yeah.
yeah. And it's the show in general is kind of critiquing romantic rom com tropes that
Right.
are
Yeah.
not as romantic as you think they are.
Yep.
But so rather than come up with a diagnosis for her, um, they actually have like, while she does have like anti-anxiety medication from the get-go, they make it a plot point later on that she was misdiagnosed.
Oh, interesting.
And so in the third season she gets a new diagnosis, and what they do um is they actually had a psychiatrist watch the show,
And then like make a diagnosis for her.
diagnosis based on her behavior in the show rather than
Cool.
like backfilling it.
Right, right, right.
So she is diagnosed with a bipolar disorder. No,
Right.
not bipolar.
Borderline
Borderline
personality disorder?
personality disorder.
Right.
Yes.
I think I heard about that where they were like, hey, so here's a show where they are actually like representing borderline personality disorder on TV.
Correctly, and it's because they didn't
Yeah.
start with the diagnosis; they started with the
Interesting. I
character.
didn't know it was that show. That's fascinating.
Uh, Yeah. And then it was very funny when it came out and discussing it in the Portland comics community because one of the love interests looks like a younger, thinner Steve Lieber.
Good.
So there was a lot of like,
It's
yeah, the
just
show's
Steve. Hi,
great, and
Steve.
then like the conversation would die down a lot. It's like, do you think Greg looks like Steve Lieber? And then yes,
Yes, he super does. It's weird. Very good.
um, so good show.
I
I
remember,
highly
what was
recommend
the
it.
name of the white lady who sold pot show? Was it just Weeds?
I think it might have been Weeds.
I think it was just Weeds. The brother on that show looks like a guy I used to LARP with, and that was a long running joke for a while.
I've also been watching Barry.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't seen that one.
Barry is very funny, but is full of horrible people. So
That seems like a your brand sort of show.
yeah,
Right on target.
it's about a hitman who
Oh,
decides he's going to quit being a hitman and he's going to become an actor instead.
I think you were telling me about this one last time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
um, probably. It's almost done. And
I like the concept.
yeah, the third season's almost wrapping up. And I think his narcissistic girlfriend finally paid enough attention to him to realize he's a psycho.
Yeah,
Because she broke up with him, um, and then he was like sending her, like, getting his things from the apartment while she wasn't there, and like dropping off his key. But he also like wanted to leave like her a note, which is like this weird trite note, like that is him being. It's just really long and rambling and kind of weird. Um, and but she comes home while he's there, and she's having a bad day. So he's like, "Is it okay if I comfort you?" Um, which he then does, and basically her TV show she'd been working on got canceled for
oh,
dumb reasons like
yeah,
the
the
algorithm
usual.
says that someone needs to eat dessert in the first 5 minutes of a show. Like if someone does that, then there's a 90% chance they'll finish the first season.
Right.
Um, and there's a
Your
such and
show's
such
not
percent
dessert
chance.
worthy.
Like it's all algorithm
Yeah,
nonsense stuff.
yeah.
And so then she explains all that to Barry, and he's like, well, "Do you want me to like do something to his producer to like get back at her for treating you so poorly?" And she pauses for a moment. It's like, What do you mean, get back at her?" He's like,
Yeah,
break into her house and take pictures of her while she's sleeping and mail them to her."
or something
And and
like
and, and
that.
she's like,
No.
so you'd break into her house, and it's like, well, she wouldn't know I was there, and then I can do some other stuff to mess with her. Um, and she's like
No.
what? And he goes, like replace her dog with a slightly different dog. Change all her furniture so she thinks that she's slowly shrinking. Like, and then she's like, I need you to leave.
This is not good things.
um, but yeah. So I think that like she finally paid enough attention to him on came out of her
Be like,
narcissism long
oh,
enough to
these red
realize that he's a
flags.
psycho.
All these red flags are here that I never saw them before. How funny.
Yeah, it turns out that when you're super self-absorbed, you miss red flags.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm. What color should that one be?
what are you working on tonight?
I am working on kind of a funky project. So there's this thing where they are trying to, I think I told you about it last, where they're trying to raise awareness about indigenous harvesting practices in Chesapeake Bay for oysters.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and you drew like
and
the oyster cycle cartoon.
yeah, yeah, they've got a couple other illustrations that they want for that too. So this one is a grandmother and her granddaughter sitting by the bay holding the soil in their hands
Mm-hmm.
at sunset. And then there's like a funky kind of spirit effect around their hands. So it looks like they're linked.
Oh, fun.
Uh, so this would go up as another part of that educational series. And I'm just doing, they specifically did it because they were like, we want this picture because we like the Women in the Woods cover, and we want you to do that, but at sunset.
Good, good,
I'm like, cool, I can do that. I can do that again.
cool,
I remember the effect I did for the ocean last time, so I'll just do that.
good, good. Um, I've been rewatching DS9.
Good, good choice.
I'm almost done with it. I have one season left.
Mm.
Which it's apparently coming off U.S. Netflix July 1st, so I
Oh,
timed
really?
my
Oh,
rewatch
geez.
well.
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
I should check what it's doing on Canadian Netflix. Although Canadian Netflix, the worst. It sucks.
sounds like you need a VPN service.
I may indeed have one of those specifically for that reason, and so I can watch some British stuff, like my panel
Um,
shows.
because all the YouTubers advertise like NordVPN or
Yeah, 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 and you
Surfshark
get
or
like a
whatever.
15% off or whatever.
My favorite little ad for that so far is there's a YouTuber I like who she talks about like Chinese culture and Western media.
Oh, cool.
Um, and she got popular because she critiqued the new Mulan and why it's
Good.
awful.
Yep, good.
But so um, apparently the Chinese government has banned her IP
Right,
because she went to check like a Chinese news site.
right.
Um, and she
And it was like,
knows that
nope.
it's specifically the IP of her apartment because she then checked it on her phone and it worked fine.
Oh, interesting.
So she was like, and that's why I use a VPN
Something VPN.
to get
Yeah,
around the Chinese government.
good. I haven't been watching a lot of shows this week, but I read a book series so good that I immediately went out and read the sequel and then immediately went back and reread the entire series, which never happens. It happens
Which
very rarely that I'm like, I love this so much, I must immediately reread the entire thing.
which book series?
It is called, the first one is called Unnatural Magic, and the second one is called A Reckless Lady's Guide to Magic, and that's just a very good name to begin with. But the character in that I love the most is this like lower class lady who's
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with a bunch of high class quality ladies, trying to solve this crime, that has to
Cool.
do with drug dealers. So she's sort of like the expert on the streets. But the dialogue for her is just all so funny, and it's from her point of view. So like her language is really good. Like she'll make up words like uh splendificating, which just is just very fun to say and very fun to read.
Yeah, that's a good word. A+ wordage.
Yep. Yep. So like the book has full of all of just these phrases that I sit there and I just laugh my ass off at. Part of the reason why I had to go back and reread it. Uh, I read that one first, and then I went back and reread the first book because I didn't know it was a sequel. And it kind of isn't. It's the first one is its own story with its own set of characters, and then the second one is about the daughter of those characters.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, now I need to go back and reread it with that context in mind and the new insights it gives me to sort of what those characters were up later in their lives. And it's really cool. I like that. But like some of the best language in a like Edwardian period I've ever
Okay.
read.
Good. Um, I found a delightful thing online. Are you familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yes.
Someone has taken JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and run it through Google Translate. So it
Oh,
is
good.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as translated by Google Translate. And then they go
Oh,
through
good.
and they letter the whole thing. So it's just full of nonsense words.
Excellent.
Um, and then it's stuff like it didn't like for a while. I was like, why does it keep saying things like this? And then I remembered that Dio's name means God because they keep having
Yes.
things like I must fight God or like something like
Yes.
so it's not just translating the Japanese, it's translating everything into English. So
Good.
um it is Joey's Strange Experience is
Lovely.
the new title.
Then he must go fight God.
Um it's beautiful. Joey's Strange Experience.
Good.
Um,
It was a very fun concept, and I love it. I'm a sucker
it
for good, weird translations of things.
yeah. It has some beautiful pages, um, such as um, Dio saying, "What are you doing to me? Do not touch my skirt." And then
Good.
drugs for kids interested, and then um, the first panel is this is a very healthy environment for children between the ages of 12 and 18. Their culture includes cannibalism and serious rituals. Car, security, East.
Excellent.
Uh, it's very good. Uh, I've also been enjoying Spy Family.
I've heard that's very good.
It is very good. I highly recommend it.
Cool. There was a
And
thread
it's
last week where there was like a person who was like, internet, what are the kids watching these days? What are the good shows, young Zennials? And that was like one of the first ones that came up always. Like
yeah.
Spy Family, watch it. It's good.
Everyone loves Spy Family. Um, the other hot things that the anime kids are watching, I don't know about what normal teens are watching, but what the weebs are watching,
Good, good, good.
um, is a very sapphic golf contest anime.
Ooh. Oh, I love this already.
So they're golf lesbians
I love golf
that need
lesbians.
to win the golf championship
As you
with their
do when you're a golf
super
lesbian.
golf because
Good.
it's anime, so it's
They're the
nothing
best at
like
golf.
actual golf.
No, no. They have magic golf powers.
Um, and I'm trying to think what are the other hot new animes. Um, this isn't a new anime; it's on season 3, but it's still very popular in its third season. A favorite of mine is Love Is War.
Okay.
which is takes place at a very prestigious private school.
Mm.
And you have a girl whose father, she's from like a very prestigious family that like is super important to Japan and has like been involved in the business and governing of Japan for like generations.
Yeah.
And so she must like take on her family legacy and is super important. Um, so that's the main girl. And the
Good.
main guy is a scholarship student who is top of the class, and is always like first. And no matter what this girl does, she can't knock him out of the top place in their class.
Right.
Um, and he's also the student council president. And because they're both not very social, since he's studying all the time and she's like too important to have friends. Like
Right.
it's less of her being a snob and more she learned from a young age people were gonna try to befriend her to use her to get to her family or whatever.
Right.
Um, uh, so she has like issues trusting people, but so because they don't interact with other kids all that often, uh, people start a rumor that they're dating.
Oh, right.
Um, and um, both of them have the same reaction, which is I would never like. I guess so and so's okay, and if they asked me out, I guess
Maybe.
I would deign to date them.
Right. Right.
Um, and the whole show is based on the fact that if you ask someone out, they now have power over you, so
Right.
they're in charge of the relationship.
Right.
Um, so both of them, after having that initial reaction over the course of a year, develop real feelings for one another, but do not want to be the weaker side of a relationship. Um, and
And ask the other
therefore,
out. Yeah.
therefore, the other has to ask them out. So it's them
Right.
playing mind games with one another, trying to trick the other person into admitting that they like them.
Right.
Um, it's delightful because it's like Death Note, but instead of murder, it's
Just
kisses.
it's kissing. I like that a lot better. It's good.
Well, listen, that's what everyone wanted Ellen Light to do anyway.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm. So like, let's just lean into that. Let's
yeah.
just make the entire
Uh,
show that.
and it's great because the episodes are stuff like they're deciding where they're gonna go for a school trip. Um, and the uh, at first, the guy suggests the mountains, and the girl suggests the beach.
Right.
The guy suggests the mountains because they can be cold, and then there will be an excuse to snuggle her, like
Right.
or like give her her jacket or whatever.
Do
Like
something. Do something
it
romantic.
it's a trap for her to come to him and ask for his coat or something like that.
Right.
Like
If I make her cold
um
enough, she will want to ask you for it, and then I can
yeah,
provide.
and then I can be like, "Oh, so does this mean that you like me and want my coat in particular?" Like that is his plan.
Right. Right.
Um and then the girl's thought is like, if I am in a sexy bikini, I will be irresistible.
Right.
Um and then but they can't say those are the reasons why they want to go to their respective places. So,
It's like
they,
ridiculous over the top mind games with each other to
yeah.
try and
So
get the other to
she
ask them
tries
out.
to argue like, oh, this time of year, the mountains are bad because they frequently rain, so we'll get stuck indoors. Um, so the mountains are a bad idea for that reason.
You definitely want to go to the beach then.
Um,
Yeah.
and we should definitely go to the beach instead. Um, and while arguing against the mountains, like, because he comes up with like explanations against that. Um, uh, he then eventually she uses the argument of like there's a lot of bugs in like those cabins that you rent from the mountains.
Right.
Um, and he is very afraid of bugs, and he doesn't want to look like a wimp in front of her. So
Right. So he's like, maybe not then.
he's like, okay, we'll go to the beach. But then after they say the beach, the other girl in the student council, who is bustier than the leading lady, says, "Oh, I have to get a new bathing suit," and kind of like bounces her boobs a little bit,
Right.
like not in a fan servicey way, just to make it clear that's why her bathing suit won't fit.
Right.
Her boobs have gotten bigger, and then main girl is like, "My bikini plan might backfire if so and so is also in a bikini." Um,
I cannot compete.
and I cannot compete because my boobs are not as big. So, um, she then is like, actually, yes, we should go to the mountains. Uh, and then they end up just asking the girl who is also in student council to be the tiebreaker, and she's like, I think we should go to the river and look for ghosts.
Ooh.
And they're like, you're such a fucking weirdo.
Go to the river and look for ghosts. That's a good premise for an anime.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention it about the book that I series that I've been reading. It is a lesbian romance.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both adorably awkward with each other because it's a girl who is half troll, so she's quite tall and brawny.
Good.
And then of course this like I was raised on the street kid who is also a fire witch.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there's trolls and magic in this world. And they are very, very, very awkward and don't really want to be the first to sort of like ask, "Are we courting? Are we not courting? Like, what's going on here?" But they're both very clearly thinking about each other, and they are adorably awkward, and I love them.
Good.
Good to have a good sapphic romance in an Ardmorian fantasy world.
Good. I support that. I forget if I've asked you this before. Have you read This Is How You Lose the Time War?
Yes,
It's very good.
it
Speaking
is.
speaking of lesbians,
Yes, very good series or a book.
um, also speaking of the gays,
Yeah.
I there
Happy Pride Month,
is
all.
yeah, Happy Pride Month. I told you about it a few months ago, but there's an isekai anime where called Reincarnated as a Fantasy Knockout.
Yes.
Um, and it's a guy is reincarnated as a hot girl.
Yep.
Because when he was isekai'd, he said he was sad that he couldn't get dates, and if he was a hot girl, he would get all the dates. Um,
Now he gets to find out how that is.
um, so a lot of the times when isekais have a dude turn into a lady,
Yes.
um, they're very adamant that the main character is not trans, and all of this girly shit is foreign and mysterious to them.
Right. Yeah.
Um, or there's something like, I will ogle my own body, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some nonsense like that.
Some moment like that. Yeah.
So in this, part of why it stood out to me is he's like, yeah, I'll go ogle myself, and then is like, oh wait, this isn't sexy. This
It's
is
just
just how I look now.
it's just me.
Um,
That's weird. I'm not.
yeah.
This is not sexy. Yeah.
And then I've been reading the scanlations of the manga after the anime was done because I wanted to keep going. Um, and the fun thing about this is it's apparently an isekai competition. There's 12 gods in this
Oh.
world, and each god got to isekai someone.
Oh, good.
So
Excellent. I like this as a concept.
the first person they ran into was the goddess of night.
Yep.
Isekai'd an edgelord teen.
Oh, good.
Um, uh, because it's basically they get they get like powers that they want, and then they also apparently get a super weapon.
Oh, good.
So he is like a death destruction sword.
Isekai, dude.
Like, yeah.
Good.
The night guy, the guy who's from the goddess of the night.
Right.
It turns out the main character whose friend got isekai'd with him, his friend is his ultimate weapon.
Good.
So but so they run into some other heroes, and the hero that they've just met is in the manga is the hero chosen by the goddess of the sun. So whenever he's in the spotlight, he gets more power, basically.
Oh, good. Yep.
So he's a big showy attention hog. And they
Good.
recently found out that he was a teen girl before coming to the world. So
Excellent.
so she is acting like an over the top hero from she's acting kind of like the main blonde guy in Ouran Host Club, if you've seen that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So she's kind of like being over the top princely guy, and clearly wants to get with other ladies.
Yep.
So after having a fight with the best friend character, the main character had a moment that's like, oh no, my friend is hot. And I don't know if it's the curse or not, or what. So he's talking to another girl and is like, hey, have you ever thought someone of the same gender is really cool? And the girl is like, yeah, I think you're really cool. And it's like, no, I mean, like,
not like that.
Your heart beats faster when they're around, and like,
yeah.
And the girl's like, no, and thinks like that the main character is hitting on her. But
like,
really, main character is like, kind of want to make out with my friend.
Right.
Earlier in the story, I had the hots for another girl, which made me think, oh good, my sexuality didn't change.
Yeah. But now
I want to make out with my friend.
Now I got questions.
And it's like, did I always want to make out with my friend and just didn't realize it because we were both dudes?
What's going on here?
This sort of conundrum.
Good.
Brought about by teenage girl isekai'd into hot dude body and is gonna get with all the ladies now.
Good. It's like, wait a minute, I have questions now. There's just a surprising amount of trans themes in this random isekai.
Yeah, but the thing is like, they haven't brought up transness because main characters still use he him pronouns despite being in a lady's body, which is
that's
it's
cool
just like
your gender and your
they've
sexual...
acknowledged that, like, wait, I want to kiss this dude. Did I
This is a
always
new
want to kiss
thing.
him?
Yeah.
It
Did
seems
I just not
heavily implied
realize?
that maybe they always wanted to kiss each other.
Maybe this dude
Um,
bi and didn't realize.
yeah, main dude might be bi and not realize it. His friend, um, might have been secret gay all along, and just didn't tell him and didn't want to admit it to himself.
Hmm.
Because his friend was, you find out, was apparently cock blocking him his entire life. So
Oh,
he would
gotcha.
not get a girlfriend, because he didn't want a vicious lady to steal his bestest buddy from him.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Who
uh,
maybe he likes, maybe
maybe
he's
he likes
jealous.
his buddy like more than just a buddy.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
that's
it,
actually
it
what's
could be
going on
that. It
here.
could also be maybe he is just a very possessive ace person who
Maybe.
um like doesn't wants like friends first, no ladies, like no non-friends, just wants to bro out.
I was thinking about like trans themes in anime the other day. Specifically, I was thinking about like Ranma Half and
Mm-hmm.
how that was such good, like one of my favorite mangas growing up, and I was super into it. But I was always like, it's all about the martial arts and not enough about the fact that like Ranma spends half his time as a girl and still sees himself as a guy, but like as the series goes on, gets progressively fine with presenting as a woman.
Yeah,
And then at the end is just sort of, I mean, spoilers for Ranma Half, anybody
they're stuck
who
like
hasn't.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's and by the end of it, he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm a woman sometimes. Uh, cool
Rama
dude
One
though.
and a Half does have my favorite fan asking the author creepy questions and the author
Oh
responding
God.
story.
Yo, yes, I think I saw that where she was like, I don't
Yeah,
think about that, and you shouldn't either.
I don't think about such things, and neither should you. The
Yes, which
question
is
specifically
perfect.
was what would happen if female Rama got pregnant,
Right,
and then was turned
right.
back
Which is creepy and
into
weird.
a late was then turned back into a dude. What would happen to the fetus? And
Like, I don't spend any time thinking about that, and you shouldn't either. Good. Next, please. Which, kudos, Rumiko Takahashi. That is the perfect answer, and also
yeah,
something that creators should say more often. Be like,
yeah.
no, no, actually, don't think about that. Oh, actually, I like that. That's a nice pattern. I think this one's done. I might try to put an overlay on it just to harmonize the colors, but I'm liking that. I think this is looking good.
Whereas I really like Oran Host Club. Main character is MB King.
Yep.
Uh, oh, I got linked to a very good screenshot of a tweet
Oh, good.
earlier today. That was hold on, I'm gonna pull it up because I want to get the wording exactly right. One time, a friend of mine was at a trans conference, and a well meaning onlooker asked what it was. And when she said something about queer stuff, the person said, "Oh, I thought it was a conference for short men who love tall women."
Okay.
And I'm like, that's delightful.
That's very good.
And also, uh, which side of that piqued the person's interest? Like,
Yeah.
they're just a big fan of a tall and a small.
That's just their thing. They like that. She's small, she's tall.
I mean, that's partly why Quark and Gricka are my favorite hetero couple in DS9. That is Quark's Klingon wife, that is only in 2 episodes.
Right.
And she is delightful and can crush him.
Excellent. Very good. Still thinking about Newt Jax.
Yeah, Newt Jax. Newt
I
Dax.
think Newt Jax. I think about her frequently now. I just like
Why
that
why
design so
isn't
much.
she a Newt? That would be better.
That is so
Um
much better, and I just really the design is just the best. Such a
Also,
good
while
expressive.
rewatching, like when we last talked about it, I expressed like, oh, I didn't really like Dax as part of my like that was mostly based on memories. And then I
Right.
rewatched the episodes where her and Worf are dating, and they're an
Yes.
awful couple, and
Yep.
maybe the worst couple in all of Star Trek.
The whole Star
Like,
Trek. Yeah, that's just weird.
because people like criticize the O'Briens for having a dysfunctional marriage, which
Oh yeah.
true, they do have a basically a sitcom marriage, but
Mm-hmm.
like they seem to at least have some shit in common.
Yeah.
Like
Whereas Dax
whereas
and Worf do not.
Dax and Worf like um Dax frequently makes fun of the shit that Worf cares about.
Yep.
Frequently like he tells her things that make him uncomfortable
Mhm.
and she disregards them and is like, I'm not gonna change for you, which fine, like don't change for him, but like
Yeah.
also don't date him, like
Yes. No. Like you're not compatible, and we all know it. It's very uncomfortable. Why are you dating?
um but now that I'm in the last season, Jetsi is dead, so I'm
Mm.
now moving on to the other Dax.
Yeah. Dax too.
Dax 2 still not a newt.
No. Why not a Newt? I like that better actually. That's a better color fit. Yeah, I think this one is done now.
Good.
This one has so many colors. It's a lot of colors. It's very almost vaporwave in the color palette I chose. I'm digging it
Cool.
though.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good color palette.
It is. It's just very fun. Shall I try and get another one here? Let's do the next one. Here is the family portrait. Colors on this one are not working as well for me yet, but I will sort them out.
Oh, I also
Maybe
watched Lower Decks.
I want to start watching that one.
It's very
Heard it's
funny.
very good. I've
Um,
heard it's like very Star Trek, but not the Star Trek that you're used to.
okay, I feel like it is mostly jokes about Star Trek.
Right.
Um, it is. It still kind of feels like that adult animation thing where I kind of wish maybe there was a little bit more heart to the
Mm.
stories,
Yeah.
um, or a little bit more depth. Um,
Yeah.
because while the jokes did make me laugh, like some of them are a little obvious.
Mm.
For example, their head medical officer is a cat alien,
Right?
and sends main characters to go get something that is a family heirloom. They break it, and you have kind of the sitcom plot of
Yep. Oh no.
like, oh, we have to like fix it, and then it breaks worse by the end, and then they
Yeah.
fess up,
And they're all
and
like, oh no.
yeah, so that's kind
Yep.
of like an easy sitcom plot.
Yep.
Um, but then Cat Doctor says, "Oh, I didn't actually care about the thing.
Yeah, I
I
was just
wanted the
setting you up.
box."
Right. Right. Because I'm a
And
cat.
because she's a cat, yes. Like,
Yeah.
and you instantly now know what she does
And you're
with the
like,
box because she's a
mm-hmm.
cat.
Mm-hmm. She's a cat. I know where this
And
joke is
it is
going.
very funny because cats in boxes continue to be funny.
They're never
But
not, really.
like, but it's still like I knew where this was going as soon as she said she didn't care about what was in the box. Like, oh,
Yeah.
she's gonna sit in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not breaking new comedic ground here.
Yeah. Um, and then so yeah, so like the storylines are kind of like that. It's no um, it's no Venture Brothers.
Yeah. I actually like that. Hey, I figured out a color thing. I missed the whole TCAF thing
Mm-hmm.
that happened this past week, and then my friend caught me up on the drama. They were like, "Hey, did you catch any of that?" I was like, "Hell no." And they're like, "Are you morbidly curious?" And I was like, "Hell yes." What the fuck happened?
It was certainly interesting.
Yep. They got way too into it, and it was like devouring their life the day that everyone was losing their shit about it. Uh, but I was very happy to get the Coles Notes version.
Um, so I think we haven't streamed since it was announced, but Seven Seas unionized,
Yeah.
or we're going
Congrats.
to, um, and that's rad.
That's
Um,
super rad.
and then the what's less rad is the did not recognize um the union, so now it has to go to a
No.
vote. But we have a super majority, so we're gonna win that vote,
Good,
and
good, good.
now Seven Seas is wasting a bunch of money on union busters.
Of course. Hmm.
Um, but um, but what's very funny is every time Seven Seas has tweeted something since it came out that they're not recognizing the union,
Yep.
um, someone goes, "Great, but you should recognize your union."
Good, good,
Like literally, it's like, here's a new manga. This looks cool, but you
good.
know what also would be cool is if you
You know what
recognized
is
your
cool?
union.
Recognizing unions.
Yeah. It
What if I
just
got
that.
isekai'd into a world where you recognize the union?
So that's very fun.
Good.
Um, and I'm gonna have little buttons to give out to people who support the union.
Oh, nice.
at San Diego Comic
At
Con.
San Diego? Nice.
They're going to be little buttons of the Pirate Cats
Oh, good.
mascots that our union has.
Hell yeah. Because Seven
Their
Seas.
names are Bartholomew and Nicola. Uh,
Good.
so,
Good. I'm here for that level of cat pun.
yeah. They're named after famous union people.
Good.
Uh,
Unions. Very important, y'all.
they're good.
They're good. They're why we have weekends and like, or had reasonable pay. No longer.
And their why child labor is illegal.
Yeah. So that's very good.
I like the color palette you're using on all your characters in here and their cheeks and eye makeup.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's sort of a stylistic thing where I've just like highlighted all their cheekbones with a color,
Uh-huh.
emphasize the cheekbones,
Looks good.
and then everything is going to be real Technicolor.
Good.
This kid needs a yellow shirt. There's not enough yellow in this picture yet. Nope, too much yellow. There. We are getting close to San Diego and that whole
Do
uh
we know where we're sending things yet?
yeah. So I thought I had everything signed up with them and then they were just waiting I was just waiting for their confirmation and then yesterday they were like, "Oh, hey," because I was like, "So what's the hold up? Can I start sending stuff yet?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you you need to get this notarized." And I was like, what? Why do I need to get my sign up form notarized?" And they're like, "'Cause you're Canadian." I'm like, "Oh, okay, but I gave you my US address. Like, does that count?" And they're like, "No." So now I have to go to a notary public and just get them to sign off on it. So that's annoying.
Yeah.
But that was the big holdup was that I was just like, "Y'all, can you confirm me yet? No? What's why?" And they couldn't tell me why. And then they finally got a manager to be like, "Oh yeah, they just need to get this signed." Like, okay, well that I could have you could have told me that a week ago.
Yeah, you could have told me that a week. Yeah,
There's
that's
a notary public up the street. I just need to go there. It's really easy. But I need to know I need to do it first.
I might look at how much checked luggage costs because I think it is cutting it close sending it media mail.
Mm,
Uh, and I
might be.
think um Alaska lets me check a bazillion bags. They're just expensive, but they might oddly enough still be cheaper than going through the post office.
Yeah.
I also don't know how much shit to bring.
Yeah, me neither. I just put in my t-shirt order and I was like, I have to do this weird math because the shirts that I'm ordering for San Diego are also the shirts that I'm ordering for Gen Con and Emerald City. But I'm getting them to send only some of the shirts actually to San Diego and then the rest of them to Emerald or to Indianapolis for Gen Con. So I had to do this thing of like, how many do I think I can sell at San Diego? Because I don't want to have to ship too many on from San Diego to Gen Con, but I do need to ship some. And then anything that doesn't sell at both of the shows will be shipped from Indy to Seattle for Emerald City. Because all of these shows are happening in like a month, like
Yeah,
within a month of each other.
that's why Corey backed out.
Yep. I do not blame her. That is too many shows at once. I'm still doing it, but I'm crazy. And I also have not done shows in a very long time and could use that cash.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shirts that have been sitting in my warehouse for 2 years. And a high tolerance for being in public. It's not quite as draining to me as it is for a lot of other creators. Especially Gen Con. Gen Con's a really fun show to do. I can like go play board games in the evening, and I like that.
I would be too exhausted.
Mm.
I'd just be like, nope, I'm out.
Especially after the whole circuit of Gen Con San Diego. All that.
I'm just like, oh, I'm dying, Squirtle.
Yep. We did a fun thing at their Emerald City earlier this year where we were like, I had the great idea of like, so since we're gonna be at a con all day and like we don't know how Omicron is gonna be or not, so let's bring spare clothing and like we'll all shower off when we get home and then have like comfy at home clothes for at the Airbnb. And man, did that ever make the convention experience nice. I've never done that before, but like coming home after a con or coming to the Airbnb after a con and showering off just makes you feel so refreshed.
Um, I understand why we have an Airbnb for San Diego because it's a clusterfuck of getting hotels is impossible.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but I do like hotels because they are consistent. Um,
Yeah,
Airbnb weirds me out a little bit.
they are weird. You can
I
have some weird
also
experiences with an Airbnb.
also because I'm now working out on a regular basis, like most hotels have a gym,
Yep, and that's nice.
so I can continue Operation Get Swole.
Yep. This one will have a pool, so I'm hoping to do some laps after a long day at a show, and I may find that I prefer swimming to showering, especially since I'll have to shower after to just get the chlorine off. And I might just be like, I'm coming home from this long day at the con. I'm just gonna throw myself in the pool now, except if it's my night to cook. Then I'll just shower
Uh,
and then cook.
yeah.
But being able to eat food that you cook instead of like having to go to a restaurant every night, so good, so much cheaper,
Uh,
so much better for
I
your health.
mean, part of going to conventions is I want to eat out, so I might
Yeah,
just get takeout anyway.
yeah.
Um,
I did that a couple times at Emerald City because there was one night that I was like, look, y'all, I need some sushi.
I will say there's a place that we should go to
Hmm.
um, while we're in San Diego. There's a bar called Werewolf,
Oh, good.
and it is covered in
Oh,
werewolf
good.
things.
Love it.
Um, and while it is a bar that does make it noisy and obnoxious at night,
Hmm.
but it is a brunch diner situation in the morning. So,
Ooh. Are you staying an extra day? I am because I need to ship stuff out. But like, I
I
got
haven't
no
bought my
plans
tickets
Monday
yet,
morning.
but I haven't bought my tickets yet. I so one time I tried to leave Sunday evening
Yeah.
and got stuck in the airport overnight because the
No.
airport closes at
Closes. Yes.
11 p.m. So if you have
Yes.
a late night flight and it gets delayed,
You are
Um,
kicked out on the street.
you are kicked out. Yes.
Yes, I know that because Jenny got stuck at San Diego one year. She was like on standby, and she's like, "It's fine. I'll just go to the airport. It's fine. I'll sleep there." And then they kicked her out on the street, and she's
yeah.
like, "Now I'm standing in the middle of the street with all my con shit, and it's like one
So,
in the morning."
so yeah. So, um, our Airbnb's for Sunday night too, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay. So yeah. So, I'll probably leave Monday afternoon because
yeah,
gotta ship shit back.
yeah. That's why we're leaving. Like we're like, okay, Monday is for shipping things, and then we'll fly
Yeah.
out in the evening.
So I'll pick a flight that's like 6 or something. Do
Cool.
you already have your flight?
Not yet.
Okay.
We were just coordinating that
Um,
today, so I'm probably gonna book it like tomorrow.
okay, let me know when your flight leaves because maybe we can also go to the airport together.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We'll all pay for one Uber or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The end of the month, I'm going to Minneapolis
Hey.
because it is Blue Del Quanti's wedding.
All right.
Uh, that'll be
Cool, cool,
fun.
cool.
I've never been to Minneapolis. I'll go to the Mall of America.
Did
The
you
the
see the
the,
thing Spike
the
posted today that was
temple
like,
of capitalism.
yep. It's like here are the worst things in each state. I
Yes,
didn't
I
agree with
did see that.
Arizona. The Grand Canyon is genuinely amazing, and everyone should see it. Um, but I did agree with New Orleans because I was like, Bourbon Street is the least interesting thing about the French Quarter.
Bourbon Street
Literally
is
go
great if
anywhere
you're an
else.
alcoholic.
Yeah. And if you're not, it's really boring and bad, and just don't bother. Like literally, all the rest of downtown of the French Quarter is just so good. I think when we were there, we went through Bourbon Street once just to say that we'd seen it, and then we were like, "Yeah, this sucks. Let's go back to Jackson Square and like wander
It's
around the
like
waterfront."
okay, so it's one of those things where like if you're not into very specific things, as much fun as people claim different places are, like if you're not
Yeah,
into their very specific thing, it's
it's not
like
fun.
why are you
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
When I was a teenager, um, my family took a trip to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And in hindsight, it's like,
Why
why?
did we do this?
Because
Yeah.
as a teenager, I can't do any of the things that Las
Yep.
Vegas wants people to do.
Yep.
Um,
My sister got dragged on a trip like that with my mom and aunt as well, and was like, "This why are we here? I guess I'll just sit in this hotel room while you go off and do things."
I did um, jokingly suggest that my parents order my older brother a prostitute. Um, and their reactions to me making that joke, I feel like, are a good summarization of both of my parents.
Okay.
My mom reacted with pearl clutching no.
Ah.
Absolutely not. How
Good,
dare. And then my dad very calmly said, too expensive.
good. I have never been. And I didn't think I wanted to. And I maybe don't want to now that it's COVID, but before, my partner was like, "No, no, 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 no. I know you're not into gambling and this and that, but you are into food and shows, and that is more of what Vegas is about these days. Like, there's still all the gambling. You can do all the gambling you want, which for me is
Yeah.
zero. I want zero gambling. But like, if you want the best food, go there. There's so many good restaurants, but also like the shows are really cool. I want to go see Jabberwockies. I want to go
Like
see
there's
Blue Man
definitely
Group, like
some
all that stuff.
shows that like only happen in Vegas. Like
Yes,
and
yes,
So, like, now as an adult, I would be willing to go on another trip, specifically if
Yeah.
there's, like, things I wanted to see there.
Yep.
But, like, why did you bring
A
your
child.
four
To
underage
Vegas.
children to, um,
Sin City.
yeah, that's not the best decision.
Yeah. Not a family trip that's like, oh boy, this is one for the ages. Let's live it up. So I think I've mentioned before that I used to live in Arizona for a year. Back when my mom was doing her master's, we went and moved down there. And it was like just after Columbine. And I was like going to a school in the States, and it was weird and scary. And like we had metal detectors at school, and sometimes people would bring guns, and it was very weird as a Canadian to be in that environment. But that being said, I still have such fond memories of like being in and living in the desert. Uh, that Master or Top Chef this year, their season finale took place in Tucson, and I was just like viscerally wanting to be in the desert again. I was like, oh, I miss that so much. I can smell the mesquite on the air in that shot, and I want to be there right now. So I would definitely go back, despite all the guns and the heat and the fact that they're running out of water. I don't know that
Yeah,
I'd live there again, but I want to visit it.
just bring your own water.
Yeah. And a big culture shock moment moving there when we were like on our way to go to our new house, and a man drove up beside us on a motorbike with like two shotguns strapped to his back, and we were like, oh, we're not in Canada
Welcome
anymore.
to
That's
America.
that's weird. So this is happening, I guess.
America.
Yeah. Also, we lived in a really cool place, that backed on to the El Arroyo, and there was always javelinas like in the watershed behind our house, and it was really cool. So I got to see a lot of
Good.
javelinas. And baby javelinas are so cute.
I told you my next book starts with some of them getting it, right?
Yes, javelinas
Poor little javelinas getting it.
getting edited.
A thing that I appreciated while watching American Werewolf in London for the first time
Mm.
is there's the part where they're like walking in the moors and there's a howl,
Oh
and
yeah.
one of the, because they're Americans, one of them instinctively goes, "Is that a coyote?" And his friend goes, "There aren't coyotes in England." Like,
Yes. No. That's very good.
yeah,
That's a very American
it's.
response to be like, yeah, coyotes, we got those everywhere.
I mean, he was
We
still
also
spooked
heard the
because they're in the
coyotes.
middle of the one wilderness. But
Yes.
it's like, that's a good, like, good attention to detail dialogue. Like,
Hmm.
Because I feel like that doesn't happen in werewolf movies set in America. Is like, because if someone
Yeah.
came in and said they were bitten by a wolf,
You'd be like,
um,
you mean a coyote?
yeah, yeah, like I feel like because the doctor
Like, there's
like
not bitten by
in
a
Wolf
wolf.
with Jack Nicholson, like he suggests a
Yeah,
dog and he's like, no, it
yeah.
was a wolf, and it's like coyote is the more logical like
And so,
explanation.
yeah. Like, oh, no, no, no. And people see coyotes, and they can be quite large. And there are wolves with,
Especially if
like,
it's
basically
like
coyote
in an
coloring.
area, especially if it's in an area where wolves used to live.
Yes, because they've got some of the
Coyotes are
genetics
bigger
of
there.
wolves,
And they
and they've
also,
gotten larger.
bred to be big. Like evolution made them bigger to fill that niche that wasn't getting
Yup,
filled anymore.
yup. It's another wolf-sized, or at least getting there.
They're wolf-sized in certain areas. They're still coyote-sized in the Southwest
Others,
because they didn't really
yeah.
have wolves. But
And here in Canada, we got little guys because we also have wolves and bears. Have you ever seen a moose in person?
no, but several of my uncles have, and one of them was
Yeah,
almost killed by a moose.
yeah. They are
They're
way
big.
bigger than you think. They are much bigger than you
Oh,
think.
I do know how big they are. Like
Yeah, they're they're like megafauna. They are large,
yeah,
some big boys.
they're big.
They're real big.
Yeah. I have an uncle that's obsessed with mooses.
Oh, cool.
Like whenever him and my aunt like are gonna go away, he's like, "Let's go to Maine, so I can see a moose."
Good, good. I like his dedication to seeing cool, weird animals.
Just mooses. He doesn't give a shit about
Just
any
moose,
other animals. Just mooses.
some moose.
Um, and he takes like professional photos of all like the sports teams in my hometown, like the high
Oh,
school
cool.
sports teams.
Yeah.
So this is all his professional camera equipment, and has definitely taken many a moose picture
Oh,
with
hell
his
yeah.
like action lenses and like
Good.
all mooses all the time.
Excellent. Same thing with buffalo. They're bigger than most people think. They're like, oh, they're like cows, right? And you're like, no, you could fit a cow inside a buffalo. They are large.
They're also delicious.
They're large, and if you come near them, they will launch you into the air and kill you without breaking a sweat.
I remember my aunt took a cross country trip with my cousin, who is not her child, so it's her nephew.
Mm.
Um, and they stopped in Yellowstone, and my cousin was like, "I'm gonna get closer to the buffalo."
Like, oh, hell no.
Like, and my aunt was like, "I got the keys, right?" And he's like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, go ahead."
If you die,
She's
I at least have the keys and I can drive us out of here.
yeah, I have the keys and can get out of here.
You do whatever you're gonna do. This is also looking better now. I think that's closer to what I wanted. Again, I gotta harmonize these colors, but I think I'm liking that.
Well, I finished the page I was working on, which is
Cool.
Connor kicking Maria out of his house.
Good.
Or more pulling her and literally throwing her out of his house. Lena, why isn't Dax a newt?
I don't know. Poor choices on everybody's part.
Yeah,
They could have
Dax
gone
should be
cool, and they went, nah.
Dax should be a newt.
Yep. Hard agree.
What's very funny is I was talking to Melanie Gilman about Star Trek, and
Good.
Melanie Gilman has not seen Star Trek,
Oh.
um, and was told to check out um, a Star Trek that Melanie did not like,
Mm.
um, and they thought it was Voyager that was recommended to them.
Ah.
And then Blue and I were like,
We're
"Well,
like,
Voyager,
no,
that is not a good one."
no.
Um,
That's
and
that's
and
the wrong
then
Star Trek.
and then and then Blue said their experience watching Voyager was the weird episode where they turn into newts,
Good.
and
Good.
we which we then had to explain. Um, and Camilla was like, I think maybe I was shown the wrong episode because if I saw that episode, maybe I would have stuck around.
I would be in for that. Everybody's a newt now.
Everyone turning into newts
Good.
because they went too fast.
They went too fast. Now they're all newts.
Now they're
Occasionally,
newts, and then
Tuvok and
they
Neelix are the
escaped
same
and
dude.
like they turned into newts and then they escaped and had babies on another planet and then abandoned their young on that planet.
Yes. Yes. They're weird newt babies.
Yeah. Uh,
I think I'm happy with that one now. Maybe one more color layer. Maybe. Let's play around with this. See how I like it. Nope. I think that works.
you know what I think's very funny is that Michael Jackson did music for the Sonic games.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think it's Sonic 2. And it's like once it was pointed out to me, it's like, oh yeah, that is definitely like a Michael Jackson beat.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
it's like I think it's the Carnival Zone.
Oh
Uh,
right. Yes. I think I remember Sam telling me with so Sam Logan and I went on a road trip to Edmonton together, Edmonton Expo for the show.
mm-hmm.
And the entire time he was like, "Hey, I hope you like Sonic music." And I was like, "I do like Sonic music." And he's like, "Great, because I have like 20 hours of it. And let's listen to it." And I was like, I'm in, let's go." And then he's like full of Sonic trivia because of course he is. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there was one on there that he was like, "Do you know who wrote the song?" And I was like, "No, but it sounds super familiar." And he was like, "This is Michael Jackson." And like he didn't make a big deal of it. He didn't like the game
It was
didn't sell
Sonic
like
3,
hey,
and
Sonic 3.
I think it wasn't like super advertised because it was around the time
Yeah.
when the rumors about him started.
Yeah, and so they didn't sell the game as be like, "Hey, this has got Michael Jackson's music in it." It was just like it's there. It was just a thing to discover later. I also got to hear the Knuckles rap, which is very good. And by
Good,
very good, I
good.
mean very bad and cheesy, but hilarious and perfect.
I like that Amanda keeps threatening to make a video that is about Sega has always wanted Sonic to fuck a human woman,
Yes. Yes.
and here is my evidence.
Yep. I saw her post about like a little bit of her evidence on that, and she's like, "Oh, I've got more. There's more where that
Yeah.
came from." And I was like, I am fascinated, and I want to hear more about this, please. I was just subscribed to your zine, your weird Sonic fuck
She's like,
zine.
I'll pop in and make one YouTube video and then never make another YouTube video again.
Yep. But that YouTube video will be the best.
Yeah. That YouTube video will be um, Sega wants Sonic to fuck a human woman.
I like concept art of Princess Sally where she's a human before they decided that she was
It's not
a
Princess
squirrel.
Sally. It's a different
Okay.
like princess.
Yeah. But like same deal. Well, a lot of humans want to fuck Sonic. It's fair play. They want to fuck a human, I guess.
Do people want to fuck Sonic specifically? Because I feel like
Oh yes.
I rarely see Sonic, but I see like his ensemble.
Maybe? Maybe they're hot for all the little
Cause
furry
they're
people.
definitely hot for like Amy Rose and Sally and
Yeah.
all the girls. And then I've
Yeah.
definitely seen some like um the sexy like Knuckles and like
Yep.
Tails and like I feel like I don't see Sonic all that much in the like who the
There's
fandom
gotta
wants
be.
to sex up. I mean,
There's gotta be.
it
He's
definitely exists. I'm just saying like
he's
I
a
feel
cool guy and he
like
eats chili dogs.
I just feel like I've seen more of all the other male Sonic characters.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
he's the least popular among his ensemble cast.
I would laugh if there is more Big the Cat porn than Sonic porn.
I mean, there's definitely some porn of that skunk fucking Princess Sally.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. 100%. I haven't seen porn of Sonic, but I have seen all the weird Christian art of Sonic that Dave Willis likes
Yeah,
to
see
post.
more of that than I see of
Like actual porn.
yeah. Um
I'm very pleased to live in a timeline where I have not yet stumbled across any pictures of Sonic's dick. And I've maybe
oh
cursed myself by saying that, but
you know they're out there. I'm sure
I know they're
Sam
out
can
there.
send them to you.
Oh, God. No, Sam. Please. I'm sure it's an occupational hazard of his where he's just like, I'm going to research this obscure Sonic fact. Oops, there's another Sonic dick. All right. Moving on to another webpage.
I remember when the bad Sonic design was revealed, and everyone
Mm-hmm.
was talking about how bad it was.
Yep.
And I asked Sam,
Real freaky.
"Do you think um, Sonic would be better if they gave him realistic hedgehog teeth?"
Those good chompers.
And after showing Sam what hedgehog teeth look like, he's
Yes.
like, that would be better than the weird semi-human teeth
Human
that he
teeth,
has now.
like one of those reef fish that have human-like teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have hedgehogs, and I know that they have good little chompers. Just they can give you a real good bite if they want to.
They're like tiny little sharp teeth.
Yeah, 'cause they eat bugs. They got little tiny predator
Yeah.
teeth.
They gotta like chomp through those crunchy bugs.
Yeah, and I just fed them on cat food, 'cause that gives them good protein, and so they could crunch through their little crunchies. Real good. They'd almost never do it when I was in there though. You just hear them from the other room, and then you hear those like quiet like crunch, 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 crunch. You know that they were eaten. Lovely little critters, but not very personable. And owning them is sort of like just being a zookeeper. You're like, yes, I will maintain your habitat, and like look at you occasionally when you were out, but you don't come out very often, except to run on your wheel. So I will just kind of be aware of you. You're here. You have your own thing. And you definitely don't like to cuddle. Very hands-off pets.
I mean, they are very pointy.
Yeah, I mean, when you could cuddle them, they're very lovely. Like they got a soft little belly, little soft fuzzies. And Hazel, my one hedgehog, she liked to come and like sleep on my hand because it was warm. So I got to feel her little fuzzy belly.
Spike, Amanda, and I restarted what used to be Dirty Old Ladies and is now going to be the Iron Circus Geek Show.
Oh, I noticed. I saw the
Uh,
promo photos Amanda posted for those. They look awesome.
and someone in it, because I mentioned that we're doing our Tuesday art streams, and
Cool.
someone in it was like, "Oh, I watched Trash Heroes. I keep waiting for someone from the Iron Circus crew to be a guest on Trash
Yes.
Heroes." Uh, so,
Hell yes. Y'all got an invite if anytime you want it.
um, I will remake the one D&D character I have ever played,
Rad.
which is a Dragonborn bard named Zephyr, who is a
Good.
teen that's excited to be there.
Good. I love them
I
already.
I don't
I think.
know what Zephyr would do with your trash heroes, but
Oh no, Lane will come up with that. Our next one, our guest that we're gonna have is Jam. Jam Melick.
mhm.
So they are gonna be on in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited to see what they are playing. But yeah, we have no guests lined up after that, and it would be cool to have you guys on. But Lane's
I
really good
don't
at being like,
think
here's how I'm gonna write your character into the story, so you don't have to
I
worry
don't
about like,
think
what's my
Sp-
motivation?
I don't think Spike is much of a role play
The endear.
person.
Ah,
It's more Matt's
you
thing.
and him. Yeah.
Um, Matt runs a game that Amanda's a part of.
Oh, is it the one where she's those cool weasel dragons?
Yeah.
Good. I love that
Um,
design so much.
and I am not a huge fan of D because I think the fighting is
Yeah,
slightly tedious.
agreed.
But
I'm
uh,
in full agreement on that.
I'm down for a guest appearance. Uh,
Yeah. It's fun. Like it's not we're not so much about the fighting.
yeah.
Or if we are, it's all ridiculous. Like this past game, the three caballeros jumped us. And so my character spent most of that fight like strangling Donald Duck, which was very fun. be fair, he started it. My character's a big sweetheart, and she doesn't want to hurt anybody, but she's a fighter, so she's very good at it.
Um, I remember while I was playing, one of the things that I thought was the funnest part of being Zephyr is one of the other characters, um, like, was trying to remember if colored dragons or metallic dragons, like, what ones do what.
Oh yeah,
And so I was like, um, asked for clarification so that the colored ones are evil and the metallic ones are good, right? And
right.
then they're like, yeah, the DM was like, yes, but your character is a colored dragon. I'm like, I know, I just need that clarification so I can put it into Zephyr language.
Right.
And so Teen Zephyr said, colored dragons are rad and cool and know
Yeah.
how to do cool shit. And
Yeah.
metallic ones are lame and boring.
Good. Good. Perfect. One of those legacy problems of D&D where it's like, so some people are just evil? Is what we're supposed to take away from this? That's a problem. That's maybe not something we should be writing into games. We
uh,
should
so,
fix
so,
this whole alignment
so
system.
Zephyr was a blue dragon,
Good.
um, and
Got that
I
good lightning
had
breath.
as their goal was they were trying to get an electric guitar.
Oh, good. Perfect.
So if you want to convey that to Lane and
Oh
somehow
yeah.
get that into
Hell
um,
yes. I
Teen
mean,
Dragonborn
I'm sure he's already got a way to do that.
trying to invent an electric guitar.
Good. Uh, Currently we are near the Dragonborn Islands, and the country that we're in is at war with the dragons. So like, there's good reason to have dragons about.
Good, good.
Well, I think that is enough drawing for me for one evening. My coloring
All
hand's starting to
right.
cramp up because I did a fair amount of coloring earlier today.
All right. Thanks everyone for popping by. Once again, I'm Kel. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete, and I make comics you can read at alinapete.com or weargeek.com. Thanks for hanging out.
And
It was good
we
chatting
stream
today.
whenever we can on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
So that's most Tuesdays, but sometimes one of us out of town.
exactly.
I also
It's going to be a
stream
thing over the
art
summer.
on Wednesdays with my buddy Joe. So if you want to see me draw some more, pop by tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And
All right, good chatting
when's
with you.
Trash Heroes?
Trash Heroes is on the 18th this month. Saturday the
All right.
18th at 3 p.m. PST.
So go watch some D&Ds on Alina's
Yeah,
stream
some
on
good
the 18th.
D&Ds.
Later.
Bye.